So let's talk about who has inspired you. Have you had role models? Have you had mentors? Who got you where you are today? Who do you think?
I have an easy answer for that, and it's going to be a surprising one. It was my father.
Oh, that's cool.
I talked a little bit about my mother earlier, but actually I was a sick child and was diagnosed with a chronic disease when I was 14. And my father was the one whose shoulder I cried on. And he was the one who took care of me and made sure I did everything that I needed to do. And his big thing with me was, you cry because this is a horrible thing and it should never have happened. And it's sad and it's terrible. And I would cry on his shoulder and say, we're going to cry tonight, but tomorrow we start over.
Wow.
And tomorrow you're going to do everything you need to do. And I think I've lived my life by that philosophy where he said, you really have a choice here. You have a choice to say, I'm going to watch things happen around me because I'm afraid to participate, or I'm going to say, I have this challenge ahead of me and I'm going to make things happen for myself despite it, or even sometimes because of it. And that's I think, largely because why I am who I am today, because of that philosophy.
I can relate to that because my father was my mentor. As much as my father met my mother worked at Roar Chevrolet. She was his secretary.
Oh.
So they fell in love and got married. And I have 2 older sisters, 1 younger. Being number 3 was not easy because my 2 older sisters never finished college. So by the time I went to college, my father always said, you'll never finish, you'll never finish. He was always challenging me, and I accepted the challenges. It's one thing to accept them, it's another thing to ignore them. But my father and I, we had a tug and war. He would challenge me, and I would accept the challenge and take it upon myself. So with college, I did finish college. I was the first one to finish college. I was the first one of my sisters to go and work. I always wanted to be a school teacher, so I became a school teacher. And from there, I got into real estate, but I was the only one of 4 daughters that decided that this is what I want to do. But he pushed me, he challenged me. He didn't do it in your normal ways. For example, I got involved in banking because he would come over on a Friday night when I was single and wanted to be out doing something else, and would come over here, I want you to read this. You want me to read these papers on a Friday night? You have nothing else to do? You want me to read these finance papers on a Friday night? But I did. I sat there and I read them. He would send me articles of women that were in business or women that were in politics. He wanted me desperately to be in politics, but I hated politics. I just couldn't. I did the banking and I did the real estate, but I just couldn't do the politics. So I commend you because I desperately wanted a blood transfusion when politics came along. But he was definitely my mentor. He challenged me.